I'm so overwhelmed right now, man. It feels great. It feels great to be a part of the family, and I just thank everyone with the Heisman Trust that allowed me to be in it.
Zach Gelb, CBS and WHIP Radio. Jameis, I know you talked about when you were 14, you won the Heisman in a video game, but now to actually do it in real life, how's it to do it?
It feels great, man. It feels great. I cannot explain the feeling that I have inside right now. I mean, I'm so overwhelmed, like I said, man. It's just awesome.
Oh, Zach Braziller, New York Post. Jameis, you talked yesterday about feeling vindication. Does this add to your vindication? Talked yesterday about feeling vindication. Does this add to that feeling?
I mean, obviously this is a great feeling, but nothing will come from the feeling with me being vindicated. But this is a moment that I just want to clear all that. I really don't want to talk about that right now, because this is a moment that I will cherish for the rest of my life.
Jameis, Jessica Taft from Al Jazeera America. You managed to stay composed all season long after everything you've been going on the field, off the field. Tonight we finally saw you break down a little bit. What did it feel like to finally maybe exhale?
It's just, I was proud. And when I looked down in the stands, when I was giving my speech, I seen my mom's and my dad's eye, and they felt so proud. And I ain't seen that look in their eyes in a long time. And it's not that I feel complete, because I'm still hungry, because we got a national championship that we got to win. But when you see your mom and you see your dad, like when they've been struggling through this whole process, and now you see a smile on their face, it comforted me.
Hi, Rich Thompson, Boston Herald. Could you just comment on the broad geographical support you got? All 6 regions, over 300 votes.
Thank you to everybody. You know, man, I was blessed for that to happen. And I mean, it's just I really believe that people actually just trusted in me, and people obviously saw us play. But I mean, that comes from my team too. I mean, if it wasn't for those guys, we wouldn't have been playing on ESPN at certain times. We wouldn't have been getting all the hype they say, and we wouldn't have been broadcasted like that. So I just thank those guys.
Jameis, Dave Griffiths with WTXL in Tallahassee back here. You just mentioned your team as well. You said yesterday it's a team award too. What are you going to tell your teammates when you get back to Tallahassee?
I'm going to tell them, guys, we still got to hold our crystal ball. This Heisman Trophy is ours, but that crystal ball will have our name on it, and that's one thing that we want. And not coming to the season, me winning the Heisman wasn't a team goal for us, but us winning that crystal ball, us doing what we had to do, us having an undefeated season, that's something that we wanted.
Jameis, Bruce Feldman from CBS. You were an overwhelming favorite, and obviously you won the award convincingly. But still, how much doubt was in your mind as they were about to announce the winner?
Oh man, that last commercial break was rough, because I mean, so many great players around you, and you always have that feel of doubt in your mind, because you know anything can happen. But when my name was called, I was anticipating for it to be called. But when it was called, it was just, it happened. But then when I went up there, I was like, I'm speechless. I don't have anything to say. So I got to shake everyone's hands. I ended up shaking people's hands twice, because I didn't know what to do. And that's a feeling that you really want to have.
Jameis, hi. Neil Scarborough with Al Jazeera America. 2 quick ones. One, outside of your coaches at Florida State, who had the most influence on you as a football player? And what about your game before you got to college gave you the confidence that you could dominate on this level?
Well, my dad was definitely my outside coaching influence, because he prepared me for this moment. And not saying that he gave me speeches and did stuff like that, but as an African-American boy, we don't get the opportunity to have our dads in our lives, and he took advantage of every opportunity he had to make me a well-rounded young man. But going into college, Coach Craig, man. Coach Craig and Coach Fisher brought me into this school not only for me to become a great quarterback, but to become a great person, because I mean, and that's why I shouted out Coach Craig in the speech, because that man was an important part definitely to me coming to Florida State. And obviously he left, but I mean, we still talk, and he's still a very important part to me in my life.
Andy Staples, Sports Illustrated. James, I noticed over here. I noticed yesterday when you guys were taking pictures with the trophy, you kind of put your hands on it, and it was kind of like, wow, this is it. But when they actually put it in your hands tonight, what did that feel like?
Well, when I grabbed the trophy, I was like, this is my trophy. I mean, it's like a little kid. Like, this is my trophy when I grabbed that thing. And I was like, when I was acting like, oh, I just didn't want to, I don't even want to pick it up. I wanted to hug the trophy. I mean, because it was mine. And as a team player, and I always emphasize team. But as an individual person, when you get the opportunity to say something is yours, that's going to have my name on it. That's a great feeling. And you would have that speechless feeling, and everything is racing in your mind because you feel that you have accomplished something that you always wanted to accomplish in your life. This is a feeling that you always want to have, even if it's to be a policeman, firefighter, to be anything, a doctor. That moment was a special moment in my life. No, I sing like this all the time. You sure? Yeah. Okay.
Jameis, this is Greg Logan of Newsday here in New York. The other day, Johnny Manziel said that winning the award changed his life in ways that he was unprepared for at the time because of the responsibility that comes with it. What impact are you expecting it to have on your life, and is that something that you've had an opportunity to discuss with Johnny about all the scrutiny?
Well, every time I talk about the Heisman Award, and when you all have asked me how you're going to be able to handle winning that trophy, well, unlike Johnny was the first. He was the first to ever do that. He was the first for people to see that. Obviously, I've learned from Johnny, and that's the thing about life. Life, we're evolving right now. And the respect that Johnny Manziel should have from everybody, and people don't understand that Johnny was in my shoes right now. He's young. People saying, how are you going to react? You're the youngest player to win this trophy. And to me, he did a great job because he's still living his life. And obviously, you've seen as on the football field, he got better. And now no one can really say anything because Johnny Manziel, he didn't get worse. Like, football field was his sanctuary, and as a quarterback, that's what he is. He's a quarterback, and as the leader of your team, you don't have no time to slack. You don't have time to worry about yourself because at the end of the day, you have either the Texas A&M Aggies or you got the Florida State Seminoles. You got to lead them because it's not about you. It becomes about them, and when your main focus is them, that's when you like zone out. Delete all the clutter. Don't worry about none of the big head stuff. You just focus on your team, and that's how you have a successful program. That's how you end up being successful in life.
Hey, Jameis, Lloyd Carroll from the Queens Chronicle. The NCAA always likes to talk about student athletes, and we've heard a lot about football tonight, so I'd like to ask about the student side of Jameis. What are you studying? What degree would you like to get from Florida State?
Well, right now I'm looking to exercise science, and obviously I have my chemistries and my maths and sciences and all that stuff, but education has always been pushed toward me from my mom. So education is always the first thing in my mind. So when people ask me, James, are you leaving next year and all this stuff, I say, I got to get my education. That's what it's really about. Because football is always going to be around, and it's going to be more Johnny Manziel's, more Jameis Winston's, more Cam Newton's, more Archie Griffin's. But when you got an education, you got a household name, and one thing my dad always told me, they can never take the doctor away from your name. And that's one thing that I always look forward to. I always want to have an education, have my degree, and academics is first. That's one thing that Florida State instills in our athletes too. Like, we be in study hall all the time. I mean, I was late to Orlando because I had to take my exams because that's our main priority.
Jameis, Ed Cohen back here from Sirius XM Sports. Forever, it didn't seem possible that freshmen could win the Heisman, and now it's happened 2 years in a row. What does that say about where college football is now, that you in your first year can win this prize?
I don't think it says about nothing about college football. I think it talks about the players. The players, people like Johnny Manziel motivate young people to do what he did. I mean, you shouldn't have to sit back and watch an older fella or an older teammate lead a team. You shouldn't have to sit back and wait for your turn. because you are your own person. So whatever you feel the need to do, if you're a selfless person, you're gonna do whatever you want to do to help your team out. And that's how it was last year. My red shirt year, you guys, any of my teammates, I wasn't the one sitting back pouncing. I was #1 in the nation coming out. I was saying, hey guys, let's go, let's win, because I'm more focused on winning and doing the right thing and having a great program than any of my individual accomplishments. Because at the end of the day, just like A.J. McCarron, people not gonna remember him for winning all his individual awards. People gonna remember him for being the winningest quarterback at Alabama. People gonna remember him for having 2 national championships, and that's very important.
Darrell Johnson, New York Beacon and Fathers and Sons magazine. First off, congratulations. You mentioned getting emotional when you saw that look in your parents' eyes. What were the first thing that they said to you after you won?
They just said congratulations. I mean, when you have a loving family, it's not much they can say in a situation like that, because it's not like they expected it. They were praying for me through everything. They've been there from day one. So when they see their son achieve something that's as special as the Heisman is to any man, they're happy, they're speechless. They feel in the same way that I feel.
Zach Gelb, CBS Sports Radio and WHIP Radio. Jameis, you win the Heisman. You have a national championship game coming up on January 6th. How do you top this next season?
I look forward to it. I look forward to the next season, but right now I'm focusing on what I got to do right now. Like, the next season is in the back of my mind, but I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I'm not going to start preparing right now for next season. I have to prepare for that game, and you got to take it day by day, because day by day you get better and better.
Hey, Jameis. Glenn Gilliam from What's the 411 Sports. I wanted to ask you, you're seeing all these goals and dreams come true in football. What's your next goal in terms of baseball? Where does that fit in?
To keep playing, baby. I mean, that's what I do. That's part of my character, because I don't feel like, when people ask me, James, are you gonna play baseball? I don't feel like I can play football without baseball. I don't feel like I can play baseball without football. That's also one of my dreams. Obviously, it comes God, education, anything you put your mind to. Because if I feel like I can do something, I'm gonna try my best to do it. And baseball is always gonna be something that I want to do.
Zach Braziller, New York Post. Jameis, what are your thoughts on the 13% of voters who left you off their ballot?
I mean, I don't have nothing to say to that, but God bless them. But I mean, obviously, everyone has their own opinion. I mean, it's basically a numbers game, and I was blessed that I had the majority vote.